The woman burst through the shop door like she was running from a crime scene, heels clicking hard on concrete, mascara smudged beneath wild eyes. She marched straight to Ethan Cole, who was elbow deep in an engine, and said the most insane thing he'd heard in 5 years. "I need you to be my fiancé tomorrow, or I lose everything." He blinked at her, wrench still in hand, grease staining his forearms. She wasn't joking. Behind him, his 6-year-old daughter looked up from her coloring book, fascinated. That's how it started. A lie that would unravel everything Ethan thought he knew about control, safety, and love. But I'm getting ahead of myself. If you want to see how a single desperate question turned a quiet mechanic's life completely upside down, stay with me until the end. And hey, drop a comment with the city you're watching from. I want to see how far this story travels. Hit that like button too. You won't regret it. Ethan Cole didn't believe in chaos. Chaos was what happened when you forgot to tighten a bolt, when you skipped a step, when you stopped paying attention. He'd built his entire life around avoiding it. Every morning started the same way. Coffee at 5:30 a.m. Lily's breakfast by 6:15, drop off at school by 7:45, shop open by 8. Routine was oxygen. Routine kept the world from falling apart again. The shop itself reflected that philosophy. Cole's Auto Repair sat at the edge of Millbrook, Virginia, a town small enough that everyone knew your name and your business. The garage was clean, obsessively so. Tools hung on pegboards in perfect rows. Oil stains got scrubbed out the same day. Invoices were filed alphabetically. Ethan ran the place alone, the way he preferred it. No employees to manage, no drama to navigate. Just engines, problems he could solve, and silence. He was replacing a timing belt on a '98 Honda Civic that Tuesday afternoon when the bell above the door chimed. He didn't look up immediately. Customers usually wandered in slow, uncertain. This one didn't. He heard the footsteps first, fast, sharp, purposeful, heels on concrete. Then a voice, breathless and frantic. "Are you Ethan Cole?" He straightened, wiping his hands on a rag, and turned around. The woman standing in his shop looked like she'd just escaped a building fire. Mid-20s, petite, Vietnamese features, dark hair pulled into a ponytail that had half come undone. She wore black slacks and a white blouse, both wrinkled, and her eyes were red-rimmed, makeup smudged at the corners. She clutched her purse like it was a lifeline. "Yeah," Ethan said slowly. "That's me." She exhaled, a sharp gust of relief. "Oh, thank God, I've been looking everywhere. Your neighbor, Mrs. Patterson? She said you work here and that you're decent." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Decent?" "Trustworthy." She said trustworthy. "Okay." He set the rag down, studying her. "What do you need?" The woman glanced over her shoulder like someone might be following her, then back at him. Her hands were shaking. "This is going to sound completely insane." "Try me." She took a breath. "I need you to pretend to be my fiancé tomorrow, just for one day, one event. A few hours, max." Ethan stared at her. Somewhere behind him, he heard Lily's crayon scratch across paper. The kid was sitting at the small desk he'd set up in the corner of the shop, surrounded by coloring books and a juice box. She'd been quiet all afternoon, the way she usually was. Now she'd stopped coloring, listening. "You're serious," Ethan said. "Dead serious." "Why?" The woman's jaw tightened. "Because I lied to my boss 6 months ago, and now it's about to ruin my life." Ethan crossed his arms. "What kind of lie?" She closed her eyes for a second, like she was bracing herself. When she opened them, the words came out fast. "I work at Carter & Lowe. It's a logistics company, corporate, stiff, old-fashioned. My boss is obsessed with family values and stability. When I started, I was single, and I could feel him, judging me. Like I wasn't serious enough, not committed enough. So when he asked if I had someone special, I panicked and said yes. I said I was engaged. But you weren't." "No." She laughed, bitter. "Not even close, but it worked. He started treating me differently, gave me better projects, more responsibility, and I kept it going because I needed the job. I needed to prove I could do it." Ethan didn't say anything. He just waited. "Now there's a company retreat tomorrow," she continued. "Team building thing, spouses and partners invited. Encouraged, actually. My boss keeps asking about my fiancé, when he'll meet him, what he does. I've been dodging it for months, but I can't anymore. If I show up alone, he'll know I lied, and if he knows I lied, Her voice cracked. I'll lose everything. The promotion I just earned, the respect, maybe even the job. So you need someone to play the part. Yes. For one day. Yes. Ethan rubbed the back of his neck. This was, without question, the strangest request anyone had ever made of him, and that included the guy who'd once asked him to install a train horn in a minivan. Why me? He asked. Because I don't have anyone else. Her voice was raw now, stripped of pretense. I'm new in town. I don't have family here. My friends back home would ask too many questions, and I can't risk this getting out. Mrs. Patterson said you were safe, that you're a single dad, that you keep to yourself, that you don't gossip. I know this is crazy, but I'm out of options. She looked at him, and Ethan saw it then. The fear. Real, bone-deep fear. Not the kind you faked. This woman was drowning. What's your name? He asked. Mia. Mia Tran. Ethan glanced back at Lily. His daughter was watching now, eyes wide, crayon forgotten. She looked intrigued, curious. She almost never looked curious. Give me a second, he said. He walked over to Lily, crouched down beside her desk. Hey, Bug. You okay? Lily nodded. She was small for 6, with his dark hair and her mother's soft features. She didn't talk much, never had really, but she listened to everything. What do you think? Ethan asked quietly. Should I help her? Lily looked past him, at Mia, then back at her dad. She tilted her head, considering, then she nodded once. Firm. Ethan smiled a little. Yeah? Another nod. All right. He stood, walked back to Mia. Okay. I'll do it. Mia blinked. You will? Yeah. Just like that? Just like that. Why? Ethan shrugged. Because you asked. And because my kid thinks I should. Mia's eyes flicked to Lily, then back to Ethan. Her expression shifted, something between relief and disbelief. Thank you. Seriously. Thank you. Don't thank me yet, Ethan said. You haven't told me what I'm walking into. Right. Okay. Mia pulled out her phone, swiping through something. The retreat is tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Riverside Park. It's casual, team games, picnic lunch, that kind of thing. My boss will be there. A few coworkers, maybe 20 people total. And what's my story? Your story? Yeah. Who am I? What do I do? How'd we meet? Mia froze. Oh, right. I didn't think that far ahead. Ethan almost laughed. You're asking me to lie to your entire company, and you didn't plan a backstory. I've been in panic mode for 3 days. Clearly. He grabbed a pen and a scrap of invoice paper. All right, let's figure this out. What have you told them about me? Not much, just that you're steady, dependable, that we've been together a year. Where'd we meet? Mia bit her lip. I said a coffee shop. Which one? I didn't specify. Okay, we'll say Brewed Awakening. It's local, makes sense. He scribbled it down. What do I do for a living? You're a mechanic. That part's true, at least. Easier to remember. He tapped the pen against the paper. Kids? Mia hesitated. I didn't mention kids. Ethan glanced at Lily. I'm bringing her. What? My daughter. She comes with me. To a work event? I'm a single dad, Ethan said flatly. I don't have a sitter on short notice, if that's a problem. No, Mia said quickly. No, it's fine. It's actually better. Makes you look more, family-oriented? Yeah. Great. So you're okay with kids then? Yes. I mean, I don't have much experience, but you will after tomorrow. Ethan looked at Lily. Bug, you good with this? Lily gave a small thumbs up. Mia stared at them both. Is she always this quiet? Pretty much. Does she understand what's happening? More than you'd think. Mia exhaled slowly. Okay, this is good. We can work with this. When do we rehearse? Ethan asked. Rehearse? Yeah, if we're selling this, we need to know each other. How we act together, what we say. You can't just show up tomorrow and hope it works. Mia nodded slowly. You're right. Tonight? Tonight works. Come by the house. 6:30. We'll go over everything. Where do you live? Ethan scribbled his address on the paper, handed it to her. Bring dinner if you want. Lily likes tacos. Mia took the paper, staring at it like it was a signed contract. I can't believe you're doing this. Neither can I. She smiled, just a little. It was the first real expression he'd seen on her face since she'd walked in. Thank you, Ethan. Don't thank me yet, he said again. We haven't pulled it off. Mia left the shop 20 minutes later, still looking half in shock. Ethan watched her go, then turned back to the Civic. Lily had gone back to coloring, but she was smiling now. A tiny, secret smile. What? Ethan asked. Lily didn't answer, just kept coloring. Ethan shook his head, grabbed his wrench, and got back to work. That evening, Mia showed up at 6:28 p.m. with a bag of tacos, a nervous smile, and a notebook full of bullet points. Ethan's house was small, a two-bedroom rental on the quiet end of Oak Street, but it was clean, organized, and smelled faintly of pine cleaner. Mia stepped inside, glancing around. Nice place. It works. Ethan took the food, set it on the kitchen table. Lily, come eat. Lily padded in from the living room, climbed into her chair. She looked at Mia with open curiosity. Hi, Mia said, sitting down across from her. I'm Mia. Lily waved. She doesn't talk much, Ethan said, handing out plates. But she listens. Don't let the quiet fool you. Mia nodded. Got it. They ate in relative silence for the first few minutes. Mia kept glancing at Ethan, then at Lily like she was trying to figure them out. Finally, she pulled out her notebook. Okay, she said. Let's go over the basics. We met at Brood Awakening a year ago. You spilled coffee on my laptop. Ethan raised an eyebrow. I did? Yeah. You offered to pay for repairs. We started talking. Ended up going on a date that weekend. What kind of date? Dinner? Somewhere casual? Maybe Giuseppe's? Italian place on Main? Yeah. Works. Ethan leaned back in his chair. What do I like about you? Mia blinked. What? If someone asks what I like about you, what do I say? Oh. She flipped through her notes. I don't have that written down. Make it up. Now? Yeah. Mia stared at him, then at Lily, who was watching with rapt attention. Okay, you like that I'm driven, ambitious, that I don't give up. True so far, Ethan said. You like that I'm honest. Ethan almost laughed. Ironic. Normally honest, Mia corrected, flushing. You like that I'm warm, good with people. Am I? Are you what? Good with people. Mia hesitated. I don't know yet. Fair. Ethan tapped the table. My turn. You like that I'm steady, reliable, that I don't make promises I can't keep. Do you? No. Okay. What else? You like that I'm a good dad. That Lily comes first. Mia glanced at Lily, who was nibbling a taco, completely unbothered. Yeah, that's actually really important. Thought so. Ethan pulled the notebook toward him, scanning the list. You've got hobbies listed here. Mine are all wrong. What do you mean? You wrote hiking, reading, cooking. You don't do those? I fix cars and raise a kid. That's it. Mia groaned. Okay, so what should I say? Say I'm boring. It's closer to the truth. I can't say you're boring. Why not? Because I'm supposed to be in love with you. Lily giggled. It was soft, almost inaudible, but they both heard it. Ethan and Mia looked at her, then at each other. She thinks this is funny, Ethan said. She's not wrong, Mia muttered. Lily grinned, a rare, full smile, and went back to her taco. Ethan leaned forward. All right, let's practice. Pretend we're at the retreat. Someone asks how we got engaged. What do you say? Mia straightened, adopting a fake, cheerful tone. Oh, it was so sweet. We were at the park. Riverside, actually, and Ethan had this whole picnic set up. Lily helped him plan it. He got down on one knee and... Stop, Ethan said. Mia frowned. What? That's way too polished. No one talks like that. How should I say it? Like it actually happened, like you remember it. He thought for a second. Try this. We were at the park. Ethan's not really a big gesture guy, so I wasn't expecting anything. But he had Lily with him, and she handed me this little box. I opened it, and yeah, it was perfect. Mia stared at him. That's really good. I've been to a few weddings. No, I mean it. It sounds real. That's the point. They kept going. For the next 2 hours, they built a relationship out of nothing. Memories, arguments, inside jokes. Ethan asked questions. Mia answered. Sometimes Lily chimed in with a nod or a head shake, her silent vote on what sounded true. Slowly, the story took shape. It wasn't perfect, but it was believable. By the time Mia left, it was almost 9. She stood on the porch, notebook tucked under her arm, looking exhausted but less terrified than before. "Thank you," she said, "for all of this." "See you tomorrow," Ethan replied. "Yeah." She smiled, small and uncertain. "Tomorrow." She walked to her car and Ethan watched her go. Lily appeared beside him, tugging on his sleeve. "What is it, Bug?" Lily pointed at Mia's taillights, then at Ethan, then made a little heart shape with her hands. Ethan snorted. "No, absolutely not. This is just a favor." Lily gave him a look, skeptical, knowing. "Go brush your teeth," Ethan said. She padded off, still grinning. The retreat started at 11, but Ethan, Mia, and Lily arrived at 10:50. Riverside Park was a sprawling green space on the edge of town, dotted with picnic tables, a playground, and a small pavilion. The Carter and Lowe crew had claimed the pavilion, setting up folding tables, coolers, and a banner that read Team Spirit in bold letters. Mia parked her car, killed the engine, and didn't move. "You okay?" Ethan asked from the passenger seat. "No." She gripped the steering wheel. "I feel like I'm about to throw up." "Don't do that. It'll ruin the illusion." Not helping. Ethan glanced back at Lily, who was buckled in her booster seat, swinging her legs. "You ready, Bug?" Lily nodded. "See," Ethan said to Mia, "even the 6-year-olds got this." Mia exhaled shakily, then nodded. "Okay, let's do this." They got out. Ethan took Lily's hand. Mia walked beside them, and he noticed she kept adjusting her shirt, her hair, her purse strap, nervous tics she probably didn't realize she had. When they reached the pavilion, a tall man in a polo shirt and khakis turned toward them. "Mia," he called, waving. "There you are." "That's him," Mia muttered. "My boss, Richard." "Showtime," Ethan said. Mia's expression shifted. The nervousness vanished, replaced by a bright professional smile. She walked forward, Ethan and Lily trailing just behind. "Hi, Richard," Mia said warmly. "Sorry we're a little late." Richard clasped her hand, then turned to Ethan. "And this must be the famous fiancé." Ethan extended his hand. "Ethan Cole, nice to meet you." Richard's handshake was firm, assessing. "Richard Brennan, I've heard a lot about you." "All good, I hope." "Oh, absolutely. Mia speaks very highly of you." Richard's gaze dropped to Lily. "And who's this?" "This is my daughter, Lily," Ethan said. Lily waved shyly. "Well, aren't you adorable?" Richard said. He looked back at Mia. "I didn't know you were a package deal." "Lily's part of the family," Mia said smoothly, resting a hand on Lily's shoulder. It looked natural, easy. "We love having her around." Richard beamed. "That's wonderful. Family values, that's what it's all about." He clapped Ethan on the shoulder. "Come on, let me introduce you to the team." And just like that, they were in. The next hour was a blur of introductions, small talk, and forced laughter. Ethan shook hands with co-workers whose names he immediately forgot. Mia stayed close, playing her part flawlessly. She touched his arm when she laughed, leaned into him when they stood together, called him babe twice, and it sounded so natural that Ethan almost believed it himself. Lily, meanwhile, charmed everyone without saying a word. She colored at a picnic table, accepted compliments with shy smiles, and occasionally tugged on Ethan's hand when she wanted his attention. People kept commenting on how sweet she was, how well-behaved. Mia fielded the comments with grace, talking about their routine, their weekends, like she'd been part of it for years. By noon, Ethan had to admit, they were selling it. The game started after lunch, 3-legged races, tug-of-war, a water balloon toss that ended with Richard soaked and laughing. Ethan and Mia got paired for the balloon toss. and they fell into an easy rhythm, calling out to each other, adjusting their throws, celebrating when they made it to the final round. When Mia caught the last balloon without it breaking, she shrieked and threw her arms around Ethan's neck. It happened fast. Instinct. Ethan caught her, one arm around her waist, and for a second they just stood there, laughing, faces inches apart. Her eyes were bright, her smile genuine. She looked happy. "We won," she said, breathless. "Yeah," Ethan said. "We did." Someone whistled. Someone else clapped. Mia pulled back, flushed, and Ethan let her go. But the moment lingered. He felt it. So did she. Lily, watching from the sidelines, gave them both a knowing look. The afternoon stretched on. They played more games, ate too much BBQ, sat under a tree while Lily napped against Ethan's shoulder. Mia sat beside them, scrolling through her phone, occasionally glancing over. "This is nice," she said quietly. "Yeah?" "Yeah. I didn't think it would be." Ethan looked at her. "You thought it'd be awful." "I thought it'd be stressful, exhausting, but it's not. It's just—" She trailed off, smiling a little. "Nice. Good. Your daughter's great, by the way." "I know." "No, I mean it. She's special. The way she watches everything, sees everything." Ethan glanced down at Lily, asleep and peaceful. "Yeah, she is." Mia was quiet for a moment, then, "Can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Why'd you really say yes to all this?" Ethan thought about it. "Honestly, I don't know. Maybe because you looked like you needed help. Maybe because Lily thought I should. Maybe because I've spent 5 years playing it safe, and this was the exact opposite of that. Are you regretting it?" "No." He met her eyes. "Are you?" "No," Mia said softly. "Not even a little." They sat there side by side, not saying anything else. And for the first time in a long time, Ethan didn't feel the need to fill the silence. What? At 4 o'clock, the retreat wrapped up. Richard made a speech about teamwork and family, then handed out small gift bags. Mia got hers with a smile, shaking hands and saying goodbye. Ethan carried a sleepy Lily to the car, buckled her in, and climbed into the passenger seat. Mia sat behind the wheel, staring at the pavilion in the rearview mirror. "We did it," she said. "Yeah. I can't believe we actually did it." Ethan watched her. She looked exhausted, relieved, and something else. Something he couldn't quite name. "You okay?" he asked. "I don't know." She laughed, shaky. "I feel like I just got away with murder." "You didn't murder anyone." "I lied to everyone I work with. For a good reason. Does that make it better?" Ethan didn't answer. Mia started the car, pulled out of the parking lot. They drove in silence for a while, Lily snoring softly in the back. Finally, Mia spoke again. "Thank you," she said. "For today. For all of it." "You already thanked me." "I know, but I mean it." Ethan nodded. "You're welcome." They reached his house. Mia parked, turned off the engine. Ethan unbuckled Lily, lifted her out carefully. She stirred but didn't wake. "Hey," Mia said before he could head inside. He turned. "If you ever need anything," she said, "a favor, help, whatever, just ask, okay?" "Okay," she smiled. "See you around, Ethan Cole." "See you, Mia Tran." He carried Lily inside, closed the door, and stood in the quiet entryway for a long moment. The house felt different. He couldn't explain why. Behind him, Lily mumbled something in her sleep. It sounded like, "I like her." Ethan smiled despite himself. "Yeah, Bug," he said quietly. "Me too." 3 days passed before Mia showed up at the shop again. Ethan was replacing brake pads on a Ford pickup when he heard the bell. He glanced up, expecting Mrs. Patterson or one of his regulars, but it was Mia. She stood in the doorway holding a white bakery box, looking uncertain. "Hey," she said. "Hey." Ethan set down his socket wrench, wiped his hands. "What's up?" "I brought cookies. As a thank you. I know I already said it, but I wanted to actually—" She trailed off, lifting the box slightly. "Yeah." Ethan walked over, took the box, opened it, chocolate chip, still warm. These from Sullivan's? You know it? Best bakery in town. Lily loves their snickerdoodles. Mia smiled. I'll remember that. They stood there for a second, neither quite sure what came next. Finally, Mia shifted her purse strap. So, that's it. I just wanted to drop these off and say thanks one more time. I'll let you get back to work. Wait, Ethan said. She paused. How'd it go? After the retreat? Mia's face lit up. Really well, actually. Richard kept talking about how great you were, how grounded and authentic. He told me I picked a good one. Glad I could help sell it. You did more than that. You made it believable. I don't think I could have done it without you. Ethan shrugged. You did most of the work. We both did. She hesitated, then added, it was kind of fun, actually. Weird, but fun. Yeah, Ethan agreed. It was. Mia glanced past him, into the shop. Where's Lily? School. I pick her up at 3. Right, of course. She checked her watch. I should go. I'm on my lunch break. You work Saturdays? Sometimes. Inventory day. Sounds thrilling, Mia laughed. Oh, it's a blast. Spreadsheets and stock counts. Living the dream. Ethan found himself smiling. Well, thanks for the cookies. Thanks for saving my career. She turned to leave, got halfway to the door, then stopped, turned back. Actually, she said, can I ask you something? Sure. Do you ever take breaks, like real ones? Not just lunch at your desk? Ethan frowned. What do you mean? I mean, do you ever just do something for yourself? For fun? I have a 6-year-old. Fun is relative. That's not what I asked. Ethan crossed his arms, studying her. Why? Because I owe you. And I was thinking maybe I could take you and Lily out for dinner sometime, somewhere nice. My treat. You don't owe me anything. I know, but I want to. There was something in her tone, genuine, not obligatory. Ethan considered it. Lily would probably love it. And honestly, he couldn't remember the last time they'd gone out to eat somewhere that wasn't a drive-through. All right, he said. When? Mia blinked. Really? Yeah. Why not? I don't know. I thought you'd say no. You want me to say no? No, I just... She laughed, flustered. Okay, how about tomorrow? Sunday? Works for me. What time? 6? I'll pick you up. We can meet you there. Ethan, I'm literally offering to drive. I know, but I like driving. Mia shook her head, but she was smiling. Fine. Giuseppe's? Since that's supposedly where we had our first date? Sure. Okay. She backed toward the door, grinning now. Okay. See you tomorrow. See you. She left, and Ethan stood there holding the cookie box, wondering what exactly he'd just agreed to. Behind him, the radio played something low and instrumental. He went back to the truck, picked up his wrench, and tried to focus on the brake pads. But his mind kept drifting. To the retreat. To Mia's laugh. To the way she'd looked at him when they'd won the water balloon toss. It was just dinner, he told himself. A thank you. Nothing more. But when he picked Lily up from school that afternoon and told her about it, she did a little jump and clapped her hands together. She didn't clap for much. You like her, huh? Ethan asked. Lily nodded, emphatic. Yeah, Ethan said quietly. I think I do too. Sunday evening came fast. Ethan dressed Lily in her favorite blue dress, the one with the white flowers. She insisted on wearing her sneakers instead of the church shoes he suggested, and he didn't fight her on it. He put on a clean button-down, jeans without grease stains, and checked his reflection in the bathroom mirror. He looked fine, normal, maybe a little nervous. Stop it, he muttered to himself. Lily appeared in the doorway, watching him. What? Ethan asked. She pointed at his hair. What about it? She made a smoothing motion. Ethan sighed, grabbed a comb, ran it through. Better? Lily gave a thumbs up. They arrived at Giuseppe's at 5:58. Mia was already there, standing outside the entrance. She wore a green sundress and sandals, her hair down and loose. She looked different than she had at the retreat, softer, less polished. When she saw them, she waved. Hey, she said as they approached. You guys look great. Thanks, Ethan said. So do you. Mia smiled, a little shy. Come on. I got us a table. Inside Giuseppe's was warm and crowded, the air thick with garlic and tomato sauce, red checkered tablecloths, candles in wine bottles, a guy in the corner playing acoustic guitar. Mia led them to a booth near the back, and they slid in. Lily next to Ethan, Mia across from them. A waitress appeared, handed out menus, rattled off the specials. Ethan ordered a beer. Mia got wine. Lily got lemonade and spent the next 5 minutes stirring it with her straw, fascinated. So, Mia said once the waitress left, how was your weekend? Quiet, Ethan said. Worked yesterday morning. Took Lily to the park in the afternoon. You? Inventory and emails, thrilling stuff. Told you. Mia laughed. She looked at Lily. What about you, Lily? What do you like to do for fun? Lily glanced at Ethan, like she was checking if it was okay to answer. He nodded. She pulled a small notebook out of her pocket, one Ethan had given her for drawing, and flipped it open. Inside were dozens of tiny sketches. Animals, mostly. Dogs, cats, birds, a horse, a turtle. Mia leaned forward, eyes widening. Did you draw these? Lily nodded. These are amazing. Look at the detail. Mia pointed to a sketch of a robin. You even got the feathers right. Lily beamed. She's been drawing since she was 4, Ethan said. It's her thing. Does she take lessons? No, just picks it up on her own. That's incredible. Mia looked at Lily again. You're really talented, you know that? Lily ducked her head, shy but pleased. The food arrived, pasta for Mia, chicken parmesan for Ethan, spaghetti and meatballs for Lily. They ate and talked, the conversation flowing easier than Ethan expected. Mia asked about the shop, about Millbrook, about how long Ethan had lived there. He answered, then turned the questions back on her. She told him about growing up in Richmond, about her parents who ran a Feo restaurant, about moving to Millbrook 6 months ago for the Carter and Lowe job. It's been lonely, she admitted. I don't know anyone here. I mean, I know coworkers, but that's not the same. No, Ethan agreed. It's not. Do you have friends here? Like, actual friends? Ethan thought about it. Not really. I know people, but friends? Not since... He stopped. Mia waited. Not since my wife died, Ethan said quietly. Mia's expression shifted. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to... It's okay. It was 5 years ago. Car accident. She was on her way home from work. He glanced at Lily, who was twirling spaghetti on her fork, not looking up. Lily was a baby. She doesn't remember her. I'm so sorry, Mia said again, and she sounded like she meant it. It's fine, we're fine, we just keep to ourselves mostly. That must be hard. It's easier than the alternative. Mia tilted her head. What's the alternative? Letting people in, getting close, risking it all falling apart again. The words came out harsher than he intended. Mia didn't flinch, though. She just nodded, like she understood. Yeah, she said. I get that. They were quiet for a moment. Then Lily tugged on Ethan's sleeve, pointing at the guitar player in the corner. He'd started playing something upbeat, and a couple at a nearby table was dancing. You want to dance? Ethan asked. Lily shook her head, pointed at Mia. Oh no, Mia said, laughing. I'm a terrible dancer. Lily pointed more insistently. I think she's saying you should dance with me, Ethan said. Is she? Yeah. Mia looked at Lily, who nodded solemnly. Mia laughed again, nervous now. I don't think... Come on, Ethan said, standing. One song. For her. Mia hesitated, then sighed. Fine. But don't say I didn't warn you. They moved to the small open space near the guitarist. Ethan took Mia's hand, rested his other hand lightly on her waist. She was tense at first, stiff, but after a few seconds she relaxed. They swayed more than danced, not quite matching the rhythm, but not caring either. Mia stepped on his foot twice. Ethan didn't say anything. The guitar played on, something slow and sweet now, and around them the restaurant hummed with life. This is nice, Mia said softly. Yeah, I haven't done this in a long time. Me neither. She looked up at him. Can I tell you something? Sure. I was really nervous about tonight. I thought it'd be awkward, like we wouldn't know what to talk about outside of the fake engagement thing. And? And it's not. Awkward, I mean. It feels easy. Ethan met her eyes. Yeah, it does. They stopped moving. The song was still playing, but they just stood there, close, not saying anything. Ethan became aware of how small she was compared to him, how her hand fit in his, how she smelled faintly of vanilla and something floral. His heart did something strange in his chest. Ethan, Mia started. Yeah? She opened her mouth, then closed it, shook her head. Nothing. Never mind. The song ended. They stepped apart, walked back to the booth. Lily was grinning like she'd just won something. Happy now? Ethan asked her. Lily nodded, smug. They finished dinner. Split a slice of tiramisu. Mia insisted on paying, and Ethan didn't argue. When they walked outside, the sun had set, the sky a deep purple. Mia walked them to Ethan's truck, hands in her pockets. Thanks for coming, she said. Both of you. Thanks for inviting us. We should do it again sometime. Ethan looked at her. You mean that? Yeah, I do. Okay. Mia smiled. Okay. She started to turn away, then stopped, stepped forward, and hugged him. It was quick, impulsive, and Ethan barely had time to react before she pulled back. Sorry, she said, flustered. Thank you. For everything. You don't have to keep thanking me. I know, but I want to. She waved at Lily, then walked to her car. Ethan watched her go, something warm and unfamiliar settling in his chest. Lily tugged his hand. When he looked down, she was giving him that look again. The knowing one. Don't start, Ethan said. Lily just smiled. The next 2 weeks fell into a rhythm neither of them planned. Mia started stopping by the shop a few times a week, sometimes with coffee, sometimes just to talk. Ethan found himself looking forward to it. She'd sit on the old stool by the workbench, asking questions about whatever car he was fixing, telling him stories about her coworkers. She had a way of making the mundane sound interesting. One afternoon, she brought Lily a sketchbook, not a cheap drugstore one, a real artist's pad, thick paper, spiral-bound. I saw it and thought of you, Mia said, handing it over. Lily's eyes went wide. She looked at Ethan, then at Mia, then back at the sketchbook. She hugged it to her chest. What do you say, Bug? Ethan prompted. Lily mouthed the words, Thank you. You're welcome, Mia said, smiling. That night, Lily filled 5 pages with drawings. She drew Mia, 3 different versions. In one, Mia was laughing. In another, she was holding a coffee cup. In the third, she was standing next to Ethan and Lily, all 3 of them smiling. Ethan stared at that last one for a long time. The call came on a Thursday. Ethan was under a Jeep Cherokee draining the oil when his phone buzzed. He ignored it. It buzzed again and again. All right, he muttered, sliding out. He grabbed the phone, saw Mia's name, answered. Hey, what's... I got it, Mia said, breathless. Ethan, I got it. Got what? The promotion, regional logistics coordinator. Richard just told me. It's official. Ethan sat up, grinning. That's amazing. Congrats. I can't believe it. I've been working toward this for months and Her voice cracked. I actually got it. You earned it. Did I? She asked, and something in her tone shifted. Darker. Or did I just lie well enough? Mia, I'm serious, Ethan. What if he only gave it to me because he thinks I'm stable, because I have a fiancé and a family and all that? You don't know that. I don't know anything. That's the problem. Ethan stood, pacing. Listen to me. You're good at your job. You work hard. You've been there 6 months and you're already getting promoted. That's not luck. That's skill. Mia was quiet for a moment. Then, you really think so? I know so. She exhaled shakily. Thank you. You're welcome. Now go celebrate. You deserve it. Actually, Mia said, I was thinking we could celebrate together. You, me, and Lily. Dinner again? Tomorrow night? You paying? Obviously. I just got a raise. Ethan laughed. All right, we're in. Great, I'll text you the details. She hung up. Ethan stood there, phone in hand, feeling something shift. This wasn't just a favor anymore. It wasn't just pretend. Somewhere along the way, it had become real, and that terrified him. Friday night, they went to a steakhouse on the outskirts of town. Mia wore a blazer and looked professional, confident, like the promotion had already changed her. She ordered champagne, let Lily have a sip, laughed when the kid made a disgusted face. Not a fan? Mia teased. Lily shook her head hard. Good. It's gross anyway. Ethan watched them, the easy way they interacted now. Lily had warmed to Mia completely. She showed her drawings without prompting, leaned against her in the booth, even let Mia fix her hair when it fell in her face. It was seamless, natural. So what happens now? Ethan asked. With the promotion? More responsibility, a team to manage, travel probably, but also more pay, more stability. Mia paused. And more scrutiny. What do you mean? Richard wants to meet you again, officially this time. He's throwing a dinner party next month for the senior staff, spouses invited. Ethan's stomach dropped. Another event. Yeah. Mia, I know, I'm asking a lot. It's not that. It's just... He trailed off, searching for the right words. When does this end? Mia looked at him, and for the first time he saw doubt in her eyes. I don't know. You're going to have to tell him eventually. I know. So why not now? Because I'm scared, she admitted. I'm scared he'll take it back, that he'll think I lied about everything, not just the engagement, that I'm dishonest, a fraud. You're not a fraud. Then why do I feel like one? Lily looked between them, sensing the tension. She reached across the table, put her small hand over Mia's. Mia stared down at it, then smiled sadly. Thanks, kid. Ethan sighed. I'll do it. The dinner party. One more time. Mia's head snapped up. You will? Yeah, but after that, you tell him. No more lies. Okay, I promise. They finished dinner, drove home in Schwangens. When Ethan pulled up to Mia's apartment, she didn't get out right away. Can I ask you something? She said. Sure. Why are you doing this? Really? Ethan thought about it. Because I think you're worth it. The job, the promotion, all of it. You worked for it. And if pretending to be your fiancé helps you keep it a little longer, then fine. But you don't need me, Mia. You never did. Mia's eyes glistened. That's the nicest thing anyone said to me in a long time. It's the truth. She reached over, squeezed his hand. Thank you, Ethan. Stop thanking me. Never. She got out, walked to her building, waved from the entrance. Ethan waved back. Lily, in the back seat, was already asleep. The dinner party was 3 weeks away. In that time, Mia and Ethan saw each other almost every day. She'd come by the shop during her lunch breaks. He'd text her memes Lily found funny. They fell into routines: Friday dinners, Saturday park trips, Sunday mornings at the coffee shop. It felt domestic, comfortable. And every time Ethan caught himself enjoying it too much, he reminded himself, this wasn't real. It couldn't be. But then Mia would laugh at something he said, or Lily would draw another picture of the three of them, and the lines blurred a little more. One Saturday, they took Lily to a street fair downtown. There were food trucks, live music, a petting zoo. Lily petted a goat, fed a llama, got her face painted like a butterfly. Mia took pictures of everything, sending them to Ethan in real time, even though he was standing right next to her. You're building a whole photo album, Ethan said. Yeah, so? So we're not actually engaged. I know that, but Lily's cute, and these are memories. Fake memories. Mia stopped walking, looked at him. They don't feel fake. Ethan didn't have a response to that. They kept walking, found a bench overlooking the river. Lily ran ahead, chasing pigeons. Mia sat down, and Ethan joined her. Can I tell you something? Mia asked. Yeah. I haven't been this happy in a long time. Ethan looked at her. Me neither. That scares me. Why? Because I don't know what happens when this ends. When I tell Richard the truth, when you don't have to pretend anymore. What do you want to happen? Mia turned to him, and her expression was open, vulnerable. I don't want it to end. Ethan's breath caught. Mia, I know it's complicated, but I can't help how I feel, and I feel like this is more than pretend. At least for me." Ethan stared at her. His heart was pounding. "For me, too." Mia blinked. "Really?" "Yeah." "Then why do we keep pretending it's fake?" "Because I don't know how to do this," Ethan admitted. "I haven't been with anyone since Sarah died. I don't know how to let someone in again." "You already have," Mia said softly. "You let me in weeks ago. You just didn't realize it." Ethan didn't know what to say. Lily ran back, breathless, holding a dandelion. She handed it to Mia. "For me?" Mia asked. Lily nodded. Mia took it, tucked it behind her ear. "Thank you, sweetheart." Lily grinned, then ran off again. "She really loves you," Ethan said. "I really love her," Mia replied. She looked at Ethan. "And I think I'm falling for you too." There it was. Out loud. Real. Ethan reached over, took her hand. "I think I'm falling for you too." Mia smiled, and it was the most genuine thing he'd ever seen. They sat there, hands intertwined, watching Lily play. And for the first time in 5 years, Ethan let himself believe that maybe, just maybe, he could be happy again. No. The dinner party loomed. 3 days before, Mia called him, panicking. "Richard's asking questions," she said. "About the wedding, when it is, where. He wants details." "So give him some." "Ethan, I don't have any. We haven't planned that far." "Then make it up." "I can't just make up a wedding." "Why not?" "You made up an engagement." Mia groaned. "This is getting out of hand." "Then tell him." "I can't." "Why not?" "Because I'm terrified." Her voice cracked. "I'm terrified he'll take everything away. And I'm terrified of what happens after. To us." "Mia, listen to me. Whatever happens, we'll figure it out. Together." She was quiet. Then, "You promise?" "I promise." "Okay." She exhaled. "Okay. I'll tell him. After the party, I'll tell him everything." "Good." "Ethan?" "Yeah?" "I love you." The words hit him like a freight train. He sat there, phone pressed to his ear, unable to speak. "I know it's fast," Mia continued, rushed. "And I know this whole thing started as a lie. But it's not anymore, not for me. I love you. And I love Lily. And I needed you to know that before." "I love you too," Ethan said. Silence. "You do?" Mia whispered. "Yeah, I do." She laughed, shaky and relieved. Okay, good." "Good." They hung up. Ethan sat in his kitchen, staring at the phone, heart racing. Lily appeared in the doorway, watching him. "What?" he asked. She pointed at him, then made a heart shape with her hands again. Ethan smiled. "Yeah, Bug. You were right." Lily patted over, climbed into his lap, rested her head against his chest. They sat like that for a long time, and Ethan thought about second chances, about risks, about how sometimes the wildest, most impossible things turned out to be the most real. The night of the dinner party arrived with the kind of humidity that made shirts stick to skin and tempers run short. Ethan stood in front of his bathroom mirror, adjusting his tie for the 3rd time. It felt like a noose. He loosened it, tightened it again, gave up and left it slightly crooked. "Dad, you look weird," Lily said from the doorway. "Thanks, Bug." "I mean it. You look like you're going to court or something." Ethan turned to her. She was wearing a yellow sundress that Mia had bought her last week, her hair in 2 neat braids. "You look great, though." "I know." She walked over, reached up, and fixed his tie properly. For a 6-year-old, she had surprisingly good instincts about these things. "Where'd you learn that?" Ethan asked. Lily shrugged. "YouTube." "Of course." His phone buzzed. A text from Mia. "I'm outside. Ready?" Ethan looked at Lily. "You ready for this?" She gave him a thumbs up, then hesitated. Her expression shifted, became serious. She pulled out her sketchbook, flipped to a page, and showed him. It was a drawing of the 3 of them, Ethan, Mia, and Lily, standing together. Above them, she'd written in careful letters, "Real family." Ethan's throat tightened. "Yeah, Bug. Me too." They headed outside. Mia's car was idling in the driveway, and when she saw them, she got out. She wore a navy blue dress that hit just below the knee, her hair pulled back in a low bun. She looked nervous. Beautiful, but nervous. "Hey," she said. "Hey." Ethan walked over and, without thinking, leaned down and kissed her cheek. It felt natural. Right. Mia's eyes widened slightly, then softened. "You okay?" "Yeah. You?" "Terrified. That makes two of us." Lily climbed into the back seat, buckled herself in. Ethan took the passenger seat. Mia got behind the wheel, gripped it tight, stared straight ahead. "I'm going to tell him tonight," she said quietly. Ethan looked at her. "You sure?" "No, but I'm doing it anyway." She turned to him. "After this, no more lies, no more pretending. Just us, if you still want that." "I do." "Even if it's messy?" "Especially if it's messy." Mia smiled, shaky but genuine. She started the car, pulled out of the driveway. They drove in silence for a while, the only sound the hum of the engine and the occasional rustle of Lily's sketchbook pages. Richard's house was in the nicest part of Millbrook, big colonials with manicured lawns and 3-car garages. His place sat at the end of a cul-de-sac, all brick and white columns and a front porch that could fit Ethan's entire living room. Cars lined the street. Mia parked, killed the engine, and just sat there. "I can't do this," she said. "Yes, you can." "What if he sees right through me?" "Then we deal with it." "What if I lose everything?" "You won't." "How do you know?" "Because you're smart, and you've earned this, and because I'm not letting you go through this alone." Ethan reached over, took her hand. "We're in this together. All three of us." Mia looked back at Lily, who gave her a reassuring nod. Mia laughed, a little watery. Okay, let's do this before I change my mind." They got out, walked up the front path. The door was already open, music and laughter spilling out. Mia rang the bell anyway, and a moment later Richard appeared, grinning wide. "Mia, Ethan, and little Lily!" He ushered them inside. Come in. Everyone's in the back." The house was massive. High ceilings, chandeliers, art on the walls that probably cost more than Ethan's truck. They followed Richard through the foyer, past a formal dining room, into a sprawling open-concept kitchen that led to a back patio. 20, maybe 25 people milled around. Coworkers, spouses, a few kids running in circles. "Drinks are at the bar," Richard said, pointing. "Food's coming out in a bit. Make yourselves at home." He disappeared into the crowd. Mia exhaled slowly. "You good?" Ethan asked. "Getting there." They made their way to the bar. Ethan got a beer, Mia got wine, Lily got lemonade and immediately gravitated toward the other kids. Ethan watched her go, a little protective instinct flaring, but she seemed fine. She always did, once she got comfortable. "Mia!" A woman approached, mid-30s, blonde, overly enthusiastic. "I've been dying to meet your fiancé. I'm Karen, from accounting." "Hi, Karen," Mia gestured to Ethan. "This is Ethan." "So nice to finally meet you." Karen shook his hand, vigorous. "Mia talks about you all the time." "Does she?" "Oh yes, you're all she talks about, honestly. It's adorable." Mia flushed. "Karen, that's not... And your daughter is precious. She looks just like you, Ethan." "Thanks." "How long have you two been together again?" "About a year," Mia said smoothly. "And engaged for what, 6 months?" "Around that, yeah." "Have you set a date yet?" Mia's smile faltered. "We're still figuring that out." "Well, don't wait too long. Before you know it, life gets in the way." Karen laughed, then drifted off to bother someone else. Ethan looked at Mia. "You really talk about me all the time. Shut up." "I'm just saying, Ethan." He grinned. All right. They mingled. It was easier this time than at the retreat. Ethan knew the rhythm now. Smile, nod, answer the same questions over and over. "Where'd you meet? What do you do? When's the wedding?" Mia stayed close, her hand brushing his arm every so often, grounding him. After an hour, Ethan started to relax. Maybe this wouldn't be so bad. Maybe they could pull it off one more time, and then Mia could come clean, and they could figure out what came next. But then Richard tapped a glass with a knife, calling for attention. "Hey everyone, gather round! I want to make a quick toast." The crowd quieted, turning toward the patio. Richard stood at the center holding a glass of scotch, grinning like he'd just won the lottery. First of all, thank you all for coming. It means a lot to have you here. Second, I want to take a moment to recognize someone very special. He looked directly at Mia. Mia Tran has been with us for just 6 months, but in that time, she's proven herself to be one of the most dedicated, hardworking members of our team. That's why I'm thrilled to announce that she's been promoted to Regional Logistics Coordinator. Applause erupted. Mia smiled, waved awkwardly. Ethan clapped along, proud. But that's not all, Richard continued. Mia's also building a beautiful life outside of work. She's engaged to this fine gentleman here, Ethan Cole, and they're raising his wonderful daughter together. It's exactly the kind of stability and values we admire at Carter & Lowe. So here's to Mia. May your professional and personal lives both continue to flourish. Cheers! Cheers, the crowd echoed, raising their glasses. Ethan felt Mia stiffen beside him. He glanced at her. Her smile was frozen, her knuckles white around her wine glass. You okay? He whispered. I need to tell him, she whispered back. Now! Mia, wait. But she was already moving, weaving through the crowd toward Richard. Ethan followed, his stomach dropping. This wasn't the plan. She was supposed to wait until after the party, somewhere private. Not here, not now. Richard, Mia said, catching him by the bar. Can I talk to you for a second? Of course. What's up? Mia glanced around. People were still watching, still smiling. Maybe somewhere quieter? Richard's brow furrowed, but he nodded. Sure, let's go inside. He led them into the house, through the kitchen, into a small study lined with bookshelves. He closed the door, turned to Mia. Everything all right? Mia took a breath. Ethan stood beside her, silent, letting her lead. Richard, I need to tell you something, and I need you to hear me out before you react. Richard's expression shifted, concerned now. Okay, when I started at Carter & Lowe, I told you I was engaged. That was a lie. The room went silent. Richard blinked. What? I wasn't engaged. I wasn't even dating anyone. I said it because I thought you'd take me more seriously if you believed I had that kind of stability in my life. Richard stared at her. You lied. Yes. For 6 months. Yes. Why? Because I was desperate, Mia said, her voice cracking. I needed this job. I needed to prove myself. And I felt like you were judging me for being single. So I panicked, and I lied, and then I couldn't take it back. Richard's jaw tightened. And him? He looked at Ethan. Who's he? He's someone I hired to pretend to be my fiancé. At first. But then, Mia's voice broke. Then it became real. We fell in love. For real. And now I can't keep lying to you or anyone else because it's eating me alive. Richard didn't say anything. He just stood there, staring at her like she'd slapped him. I'm sorry, Mia continued. I know I messed up. I know I should have been honest from the start, but I'm being honest now, and I'm telling you that everything I've done for this company, every project, every late night, every success, that was real. That was me. Not some fake version I created to impress you. Richard finally spoke, his voice cold. Do you have any idea what you've done? Yes. You lied to me, to everyone here. You made us all look like fools. I know. And you think an apology makes that okay? No, I don't. Richard shook his head, laughing bitterly. I championed you, Mia. I fought for your promotion, and now I find out the whole thing was built on a lie? The promotion had nothing to do with the engagement, Mia said, desperate now. I earned that. You said it yourself. I've worked harder than anyone. That's not the point. Then what is the point? The point is trust. Richard's voice rose. How am I supposed to trust you after this? How is anyone? Mia flinched. Ethan stepped forward. Hey, she's trying to make it right. She didn't have to tell you. She could have kept lying, but she didn't because she's honest. More honest than most people I know. Richard turned on him. And you? You went along with this? For what? Money? No, Ethan said flatly. Because she asked for help, and I said yes. That's it. That's it? Richard laughed again, sharp and humorless. You people are unbelievable. Richard, please, Mia said. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I'm begging you. Don't let this define me. I'm good at my job. You know I am. Richard looked at her for a long moment. Then he shook his head. I need to think about this. What does that mean? It means I don't know if I can keep you on staff after this. I need time to decide. Mia's face went pale. Richard, go home, Mia. We'll talk Monday. Please, just go home. The finality in his voice left no room for argument. Mia stood there, trembling, then turned and walked out. Ethan followed. They didn't say goodbye to anyone. They just left, through the side door, across the lawn to the car. Lily was already there, waiting. She must have seen them leave. Mia got behind the wheel, hands shaking so badly she couldn't get the key in the ignition. Ethan reached over, took them from her, started the car himself. I ruined everything, Mia whispered. No, you didn't. He's going to fire me. You don't know that. Yes, I do. She pressed her hands to her face. I lost it. I lost everything. Ethan didn't know what to say. He just drove back to his place because Mia's apartment felt too far, too empty. When they got there, he parked, turned off the engine. Mia didn't move. Come inside, Ethan said gently. I can't. Yes, you can. I don't want to, Mia. He waited until she looked at him. Come inside. She nodded, finally. They went in. Lily went straight to her room, sensing the adults needed space. Ethan guided Mia to the couch, sat her down, got her a glass of water. She didn't drink it, just held it, staring at nothing. I'm such an idiot, she said. You're not. I am. I should have just told him from the start. I should have been honest. But I was so scared, and now… She broke off, crying. Now I lost the job, and I dragged you into this mess, and I ruined everything. Ethan sat beside her, pulled her close. She buried her face in his shoulder, sobbing. He held her, not saying anything, just letting her fall apart. After a while, the tears slowed. She pulled back, wiping her face. I'm sorry, she said. For what? For all of it, for asking you to lie, for making you go to that stupid party, for… Stop, Ethan said. I don't regret any of it. Mia looked at him, eyes red and puffy. How can you say that? Because it brought you into my life, and Lily's, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. Even if I lose my job? Even then. Mia's lip trembled. I love you. I love you too. She kissed him. It was desperate, messy, full of fear and need and something real. Ethan kissed her back, holding her like she might disappear if he let go. When they finally broke apart, Mia rested her forehead against his. What do we do now? She whispered. We wait. And whatever happens Monday, we deal with it. Together. Promise? Promise. They sat like that for a long time, tangled together on the couch. Eventually, Lily padded out of her room, climbed onto the couch beside them, and curled up against Mia. Mia wrapped an arm around her, and Lily sighed, content. She really loves you, Ethan said quietly. I really love her, Mia replied. They stayed like that until Lily fell asleep, and then a little longer, because none of them wanted to move. Because in that moment, despite everything, they were a family, and that was enough. The weekend was torture. Mia stayed at Ethan's place, unable to face her empty apartment. She barely ate, barely spoke, just sat on the couch or in the backyard, staring at nothing. Ethan tried to distract her, suggested a movie, a walk, anything, but she couldn't focus. Lily tried too, showing her drawings, sitting quietly beside her. Mia smiled for the kids' sake, but it didn't reach her eyes. Sunday night, Ethan found Mia standing in the kitchen at 2 a.m., staring at her phone. Can't sleep? He asked. She shook her head. You check your email? Every 5 minutes. Anything? No. Ethan walked over, took the phone from her hands, set it on the counter. You're driving yourself crazy. I can't help it. I know, but you need to sleep. I can't. Then come here. He pulled her into a hug. She resisted at first, then gave in, collapsing against him. What if he fires me? She whispered. Then you find another job. What if no one will hire me after this? Then you start over, somewhere new, somewhere better. What if I can't? Then I'll help you. We'll figure it out. Mia pulled back, looking up at him. Why are you being so calm about this? Because panicking won't change anything, and because I've lost everything before. I know what it's like, and I know you can survive it. How? Because you're stronger than you think, and because you're not alone. Mia's eyes filled with tears again. I don't deserve you. Yeah, you do. He led her back to the couch, pulled a blanket over them both. Mia curled into him, and eventually her breathing evened out. She fell asleep. Ethan stayed awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering what the hell Monday would bring. The call came at 9:07 a.m. Ethan was in the shop, replacing a fuel pump, when Mia burst through the door. She looked wild-eyed, breathless. He called, she said. Ethan set down his wrench. And? He wants to see me. At the office. In an hour. Okay. That's it? That's all you're going to say? What do you want me to say? I don't know. Something reassuring. Ethan walked over, took her hands. You're going to go in there. You're going to face him. And no matter what happens, you're going to walk out with your head up, because you told the truth. And that takes guts. What if he fires me? Then he fires you. That's not reassuring. I'm not going to lie to you, Mia. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know you can handle it. Mia stared at him, then nodded. Okay. She took a shaky breath. Will you come with me? To the office? No, just drive me there? I don't think I can drive. Yeah, of course. They took his truck. Mia sat in the passenger seat, hands clasped tight in her lap. She didn't say anything the whole drive. When they pulled up to the Carter and Lowe building, she didn't move. You want me to wait? Ethan asked. Would you? Yeah. She leaned over, kissed him. Thank you. Go get him, Tiger. Mia smiled, just a little, then got out and walked inside. Ethan watched her go, then settled in to wait. 40 minutes later, she came back out. Ethan couldn't read her expression. She got in the truck, closed the door, sat there. Well? Ethan asked. Mia turned to him, and a slow smile spread across her face. He didn't fire me. What? He didn't fire me. She started laughing, disbelieving. He said he was furious, that he lost sleep over it, that he seriously considered letting me go, but then he talked to some of the other managers, and they all vouched for me. Said I was one of the best hires they'd made in years. So he decided to give me a second chance. Ethan exhaled, relief flooding through him. That's amazing. There's a condition, though. What? I have to earn back his trust. He's putting me on probation for 3 months. Any screw-ups, and I'm out. You won't screw up. I know, but Ethan... She grabbed his hand. He also said something else. What? He said the promotion was always about my work, not my personal life. That he gave it to me because I earned it, not because I checked some box. Her voice cracked. He said I didn't need to lie. I never did. Ethan squeezed her hand. Told you. Mia laughed again, tears streaming down her face now. I can't believe it. I really thought I'd lost everything. You didn't. No, I didn't. She wiped her eyes, then looked at him seriously. He asked about you too. Me? Yeah. Wanted to know if we were really together. I told him yes, that we started as a lie but became real. He didn't love that, but he said as long as I'm honest going forward, he won't hold it against me. So we're good? We're good. Ethan pulled her into a hug. She clung to him, laughing and crying at the same time. I can't believe this is real, she said. It is, all of it. They sat there in the parking lot, holding each other, and Ethan felt something shift in his chest. Relief, yes, but also something bigger. Hope, the kind he hadn't felt in years. Come on, he said. Let's go home. Home? Yeah, my place, our place. He paused. If you want. Mia pulled back, staring at him. Are you asking me to move in? Eventually, yeah, if that's not too fast. Too fast? Mia laughed. Ethan, we went from strangers to fake engaged to real in love in 2 months. I think we're past worrying about fast. So that's a yes? That's a hell yes, Ethan grinned. All right then. They drove back to the house. Lily was waiting on the porch, drawing in her sketchbook. When she saw them pull up, she looked at Mia, questioning. Mia gave her a thumbs up. Lily jumped up, ran over, threw her arms around Mia's waist. Mia hugged her back, laughing. Ethan watched them, something warm and solid settling in his chest. This was it. This was real. No more pretending, no more lies. Just them. A mechanic, a logistics coordinator, and a quiet kid who saw everything. A family built on this most impossible foundation. And somehow, it worked. 2 weeks later, Mia started bringing boxes over. Not all at once, just a suitcase first, then a few bags of clothes, then kitchen stuff. She said Ethan's place desperately needed. He didn't argue. His cabinets had 3 plates and 2 mugs. She wasn't wrong. Lily helped unpack, organizing Mia's books on the shelf, hanging her jackets in the closet. She treated it like a game, finding homes for everything. Mia watched her, smiling. "She's really okay with this?" Mia asked one afternoon, folding sweaters into a drawer. "She suggested it before I did," Ethan said from the doorway. "What?" "Yeah, about a week ago, she drew a picture of you living here, had your toothbrush in the bathroom and everything." Mia laughed. "That kid's a step ahead of everyone." "Always has been." By the end of the month, Mia's apartment was empty and her name was on the lease. She kept joking about how fast it all happened, but she never once suggested slowing down. Neither did Ethan. It felt right, like puzzle pieces that had been scattered finally clicking into place. The 3 of them fell into a rhythm. Mornings were chaos. Lily's breakfast, Mia's coffee, Ethan trying to find matching socks. Evenings were calmer. Mia would cook while Ethan helped Lily with homework. Then they'd eat together at the small kitchen table, talking about their days. Weekends were park trips, grocery runs, movie nights on the couch with Lily wedged between them. It wasn't perfect. Mia left wet towels on the bathroom floor. Ethan forgot to pick up milk 3 times in 1 week. Lily had nightmares sometimes and would crawl into bed between them at 2 a.m., elbows everywhere. But it was real. Messy and complicated and real. Work settled down for Mia. The probation period was grueling. Richard watched her like a hawk, questioning every decision, but she kept her head down and delivered. By the 2nd month, he started easing up. By the 3rd, he was assigning her bigger projects again, trusting her judgment. She came home exhausted most nights, but proud. Ethan's shop stayed steady. Same routine, same customers, same grease-stained hands at the end of every day. But now when he closed up, he had something to go home to. Someone waiting. 2 someones, actually. It changed everything. One Saturday morning in late October, Ethan woke up to the smell of pancakes. He padded into the kitchen and found Mia at the stove, flipping them like a pro, while Lily sat at the table drawing. The sunlight streamed through the window, catching the steam rising from the griddle. "You're cooking," Ethan said. "Observant as always," Mia replied, not turning around. "I didn't know you could make pancakes." "There's a lot you don't know about me, Cole." "Apparently." She plated a stack, set it in front of him. "Eat. I'm buttering you up." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Why?" "Because I want to ask you something." "That sounds ominous." Mia sat down across from him, folding her hands. "My parents want to meet you." Ethan paused mid-bite. "Your parents?" "Yeah." "In Richmond?" "Yeah." "When?" "Next weekend. They're having a family dinner. My brother and his wife will be there. My grandmother. The whole crew." Ethan set down his fork. "That's a lot of people." "I know." "And you told them about me." "Of course I did. I've been living with you for a month. They'd be pissed if I didn't tell them." "What did you say?" Mia smiled. "The truth. That I met you through a ridiculous fake engagement scheme and accidentally fell in love." "You told them that?" "Yeah, my mom thought it was hilarious. My dad, less so." "Great. He'll warm up, probably." Ethan looked at Lily, who was watching them with interest. "What do you think, Bug? You up for meeting Mia's family?" Lily nodded enthusiastically. "See," Mia said, "even the 6-year-old's braver than you." "I'm not scared." "You look scared." "I'm not." "Then say yes." Ethan sighed. "Fine, yes." Mia grinned, leaned across the table, and kissed him. "Thank you." "You're lucky I love you." "I know." The week leading up to the dinner, Mia was a bundle of nerves. She kept changing her mind about what to wear, what to bring, whether they should leave early or show up fashionably late. Ethan let her spiral, offering the occasional reassurance, but mostly staying out of her way. Lily found it entertaining. Is she always like this? Lily whispered one night while Mia tried on her fifth outfit. I think this is new, Ethan whispered back. She's funny. Yeah, she is. Saturday arrived. They piled into Ethan's truck. Mia insisted on driving this time, and headed to Richmond. The drive was an hour and a half, most of it spent with Mia giving Ethan a rundown of her family. My mom's name is Lon. She's gonna love you. My dad's Hugh. He's protective. My brother Min is chill, but his wife Stephanie asks a lot of questions. My grandmother Bong Wai only speaks Vietnamese, but she's sweet. Just smile and nod. Smile and nod. Got it. And don't mention the fake engagement thing in front of my dad. He's still processing. You told him? I had to. I wasn't going to lie to my own parents. Fair. He thinks I'm reckless. Are you? Mia glanced at him. Maybe a little. Ethan smiled. Good. They pulled up to a modest house in a quiet neighborhood. The driveway was already full. 3 cars, a minivan. Mia parked on the street, turned off the engine, and didn't move. You okay? Ethan asked. No. You're the one who set this up. I know. I'm regretting it. Too late now. I could fake a stomach bug. Mia, she exhaled. Okay, let's do this. They got out. Lily took Ethan's hand, unusually quiet. The front door opened before they even reached the porch, and a woman in her 50s appeared, beaming. Mia! She pulled Mia into a hug, then turned to Ethan. You must be Ethan. Yes, ma'am. Nice to meet you. Call me Lon. And this is Lily? Lily waved shyly. Oh, she's precious. Come in. Everyone's in the back. The house smelled like lemongrass and fish sauce. They followed Lon through the living room, past family photos covering every available wall, into a bustling kitchen. A man in his 50s stood by the stove, stirring a pot. He glanced up when they entered, his expression neutral. Dad, this is Ethan, Mia said. Ethan, my dad. Hugh. Hugh set down the spoon, walked over, and extended his hand. His grip was firm, assessing. Nice to meet you, Ethan said. Hugh nodded. Mia tells me you're a mechanic. Yes, sir. Good work? Steady work. That's important. Yes, sir. They stared at each other for a beat. Then Hugh turned back to the stove. Mia shot Ethan an apologetic look. He shrugged. It could have been worse. The rest of the family was in the backyard. Min and Stephanie, their 2 kids, and Bon Wai, a tiny woman in her 80s sitting in a lawn chair. Introductions were made. Min shook Ethan's hand, friendly and easy. Stephanie asked where they met, how long they'd been together, if they were planning on getting married for real. Ethan answered as honestly as he could without making it sound insane. Bon Wai said something in Vietnamese, pointing at Lily. Mia translated. She says Lily has kind eyes. Lily smiled at Bon Wai, who smiled back. Dinner was loud and chaotic. Plates of spring rolls, pho, grilled pork, rice. Everyone talked over each other, switching between English and Vietnamese. Ethan felt out of his depth at first, but Mia stayed close, translating when needed, pulling him into conversations. Lily sat next to Bon Wai, who fed her bits of food and patted her hand. Halfway through the meal, Hugh spoke up, looking at Ethan. Mia says you're raising Lily on your own. Yes, sir. That's hard. It is, but she's worth it. Hugh studied him. Your wife passed 5 years ago. I'm sorry. Thank you. And now you're with my daughter. Yes, sir. You serious about her? Ethan didn't hesitate. Very. Hugh nodded slowly. Good. Because if you hurt her, we'll have a problem. Dad, Mia said, flushing. I'm just making sure he knows. He knows. I do, Ethan confirmed. Hugh almost smiled. Almost. Then he went back to his pho. After dinner, the kids ran around the backyard while the adults sat on the patio. Lon brought out coffee and dessert. Stephanie cornered Mia, asking about wedding plans. Mia deflected, laughing nervously. Min sat next to Ethan, offering him a beer. Don't worry about Dad, Min said. He's like that with everyone. Good to know, He likes you, though. How can you tell? He didn't threaten you. That's a good sign. Ethan laughed. I'll take it. They talked for a while, about work, about Millbrook, about raising kids. Min was easy to talk to, no pretense. Ethan found himself relaxing. Later, as the sun started to set, Mia found Ethan sitting on the back steps, watching Lily chase Min's kids around the yard. You surviving? She asked, sitting beside him. Yeah, your family's great. They like you. Your dad barely said 3 words to me. That means he likes you. If he didn't, he'd say a lot more. Ethan smiled. Good to know. Mia leaned her head on his shoulder. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for inviting me. I mean it. I know it's a lot. Meeting the family, the whole thing. It's not too much. It's nice. Yeah? Yeah. They sat there in comfortable silence, watching the kids play. Then Mia spoke again, quieter this time. Can I ask you something? Always. Do you ever think about getting married? Like, for real? Ethan's heart skipped. Do you? I asked first. Fair? He thought about it. Yeah, I do. Not because I think we need to, but because I want to. Because I want you to know I'm all in. Mia lifted her head, looking at him. Really? Really? Even with all the baggage? The job drama, the lying, the mess? Especially with all that. Because it's you, and I don't want to be with anyone else. Mia's eyes glistened. I want to marry you too. Ethan smiled. Good. But not yet. Is that okay? Yeah, when you're ready. I just need a little more time to make sure this is real, that it's not just, I don't know, adrenaline or something. It's real, Mia. I know. But I need to believe it. Really believe it. Ethan took her hand. Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere. Mia kissed him, soft and slow. When she pulled back, she was smiling. I love you. I love you too. Lily ran up, breathless and laughing, holding a dandelion. She handed it to Mia, then ran off again. Mia tucked it behind her ear the same way she had at the street fair. She's got a thing for giving you flowers, Ethan said. I know, I love it. They watched Lily play until it got dark, then said their goodbyes. Lon hugged them both, made them promise to visit again soon. Hugh shook Ethan's hand, held it a beat longer this time, and said, Take care of them. I will, Ethan promised. On the drive home, Lily fell asleep in the back seat. Mia reached over, laced her fingers through Ethan's. That went better than I expected, she said. Your family's good people. Yeah, they are. Your dad really grilled me, though. He did, but he liked you, I could tell. How? He invited you back. He doesn't do that for just anyone. Ethan smiled. I'll take it. They drove in silence for a while, the highway stretching out ahead of them. Then Mia spoke again. Ethan? Yeah? When I'm ready, when I know for sure, will you ask me? For real? Ethan glanced at her, his chest tight. Yeah, I will. Promise? Promise. Mia smiled, settled back in her seat. Good. The next few weeks were good. Really good. Mia crushed it at work, landing a major client that impressed even Richard. Ethan's shop had a busy stretch, 3 cars in 1 week needing serious repairs. Lily started 2nd grade, made a friend named Emma, and came home chattering about art class. Life felt normal, steady, the kind of steady Ethan had been craving for 5 years. But then one cold November evening, everything shifted. Mia came home late, after 8. Ethan was in the kitchen cleaning up dinner, Lily at the table doing homework. When Mia walked in, she looked pale. Hey, Ethan said. You okay? I need to talk to you. Her tone made his stomach drop. Okay, what's up? Mia glanced at Lily. Can we... somewhere else? Yeah. Lily, keep working on that math. I'll be right back. They went into the bedroom. Mia closed the door, leaned against it. What's wrong? Ethan asked. Richard called me into his office today. And? He offered me a position. In Atlanta. Ethan went very still. Atlanta. Regional director. It's a huge promotion. More money, more responsibility. Everything I've been working toward. That's great, Mia. Is it? Isn't it? Mia crossed her arms, looking miserable. I don't know. Because it means leaving. Leaving Millbrook. Leaving you. Leaving Lily. For how long? Permanently. The position's based there. I'd have to move. Ethan felt like the floor had dropped out from under him. When? He needs an answer by Monday. If I say yes, I'd start in January. That's 2 months. I know. They stood there staring at each other. Ethan didn't know what to say. He wanted to be supportive, to tell her to take it, that she'd earned it. But the thought of her leaving, of losing this, made his chest ache. What do you want to do? He asked finally. I don't know, Mia said, her voice breaking. I want the job. I've worked so hard for this. But I don't want to lose you. You won't lose me. Long distance doesn't work, Ethan. We both know that. So what are you saying? I'm saying I have to choose between my career and you, and I don't know how to make that choice. Ethan stepped forward, took her hands. Then don't. Not yet. Sleep on it. We'll figure it out. How? I don't know, but we will. Mia shook her head, tears spilling over. I don't want to leave you. Then don't. But this is everything I've worked for. I know. I feel like I'm being torn in half. Ethan pulled her into a hug. She clung to him, crying. He held her, his own eyes burning, because he knew. Whatever she decided, it would change everything. Top. The next 2 days were hell. Mia barely ate, barely slept. She'd sit at the kitchen table staring at her laptop, or in the backyard staring at nothing. Ethan tried to give her space, but it was hard. He wanted to tell her to stay, to choose them. But he couldn't, because that wasn't fair. Sunday night, Mia came into the living room where Ethan was watching TV with Lily. She looked exhausted. I need to tell you something, she said. Ethan muted the TV. Okay. Mia sat down, looked at both of them. I'm going to turn down the job. Ethan's heart stopped. What? I can't leave you guys. I thought about it and I can't. You're more important. Mia, no. Yes. You can't give up your career for me. I'm not. I'm choosing what matters. This matters. This is your dream. You're my dream. Mia's voice broke. You and Lily. This. I don't want Atlanta. I want this. Ethan stood up, started pacing. You're going to regret it. No, I won't. Yes, you will. In a year, 5 years, you're going to resent me for holding you back. You're not holding me back. I'm making a choice you shouldn't have to make. But I do, and I'm making it. They stared at each other, both breathing hard. Lily looked between them, worried. Ethan sat back down, rubbed his face. I don't want you to resent me. I won't. You can't know that. I can, because I love you, and I love Lily, and I want to build a life here, with you. Ethan looked at her, really looked at her. She meant it, every word. Okay, he said quietly. Okay? If that's what you want, if you're sure. I'm sure. Ethan pulled her close. She buried her face in his shoulder. Lily climbed onto the couch, wrapped her arms around both of them. They sat like that for a long time, the three of them tangled together, holding on. But even as Ethan held her, a voice in his head whispered, "This isn't over. Something's going to give. It always does." He pushed it aside, focused on the moment, on the warmth of Mia in his arms, Lily pressed against his side, on the family they'd built from nothing, and he hoped, desperately, that it would be enough. Monday morning came too fast. Mia got dressed for work in silence, her movements mechanical. Ethan watched from the doorway as she buttoned her blouse, checked her reflection, smoothed her hair. She looked composed, professional, but her hands shook. You don't have to do this today, Ethan said. Yes, I do. I told Richard I'd give him an answer. Call him. Tell him you need more time. I've had enough time. She turned to face him. I'm turning it down. That's final. Mia, Ethan, please don't make this harder. He nodded, swallowed the words he wanted to say. She grabbed her purse, kissed him quickly, and left. Ethan stood in the empty bedroom, that voice in his head getting louder. This isn't right. You know it isn't. He got Lily ready for school, dropped her off, drove to the shop. Spent the morning changing oil, rotating tires, trying to focus on anything but the knot in his stomach. Around noon, his phone rang. Richard's name flashed on the screen. Ethan stared at it. Why would Richard be calling him? He answered. Ethan Cole? Yes? This is Richard Brennan, Mia's boss. We met at the retreat and the dinner party. I remember. Good. Listen, I need to talk to you. Can you meet me? Say, 1 o'clock at Giuseppe's? Ethan frowned. Why? Because Mia just turned down the opportunity of a lifetime, and I think you might be the reason why. Ethan's stomach dropped. I didn't ask her to do that. I know, that's why I want to talk. 1 o'clock? Ethan hesitated. Yeah, all right. See you then. The line went dead. Ethan stood there, phone in hand, heart pounding. What the hell was Richard playing at? He closed the shop early, drove to Giuseppe's. Richard was already there, sitting in a booth near the back, nursing a coffee. He waved Ethan over. Thanks for coming, Richard said as Ethan slid into the seat across from him. What's this about? Straight to the point. I like that. Richard leaned back. Mia turned down Atlanta this morning, told me she couldn't leave Millbrook. When I asked why, she said it was personal, but I know it's you. I didn't tell her to stay. I know, she made that very clear. But here's the thing, Ethan. That job in Atlanta, it's perfect for her. It's everything she's worked for, and she's throwing it away. That's her choice. Is it? Or is she doing it because she thinks she has to choose between her career and you? Ethan didn't answer. Richard sighed. Look, I'm not here to lecture you. I'm here because I respect Mia. She's one of the best people I've hired in 20 years, and I don't want to see her make a decision she'll regret. Neither do I. Then help me figure out a solution. Like what? Richard pulled out his phone, swiped through something, then turned it toward Ethan. There's a Carter and Low branch in Richmond. Smaller operation, but solid. I could get Mia a position there. Not as high up as Atlanta, but still a promotion. Better pay, more responsibility. And Richmond's only an hour from here. Ethan stared at the screen. You'd do that? If it means keeping her with the company, yeah. She's too valuable to lose. Why are you telling me this and not her? Because I need to know if you're serious about her. If this is real, or if you're just going to break her heart in 6 months. Ethan met his eyes. It's real. You love her? Yes? Enough to make sacrifices? I already have. Richard studied him, then nodded. All right. I'll offer her Richmond. But here's the deal. If she takes it, you two need to figure out your situation. Long term. No more floating. She needs stability, and if you can't give her that, you need to let her go. I can give her that. Good. Richard stood, dropped a 20 on the table. I'll talk to her this afternoon. You should too. Make sure you're on the same page. He left. Ethan sat there, staring at the $20 bill, mind racing. Richmond, an hour away. It wasn't Atlanta, but it was something, a compromise. A way for Mia to have both. But was it enough? He drove home, found Mia's car already in the driveway. She was early. He walked inside, found her sitting at the kitchen table, staring at her laptop. Hey, he said. She looked up, surprised. You're home early. So are you. Yeah, I needed to get out of there. Ethan pulled out a chair, sat across from her. Richard called me. Mia froze. What? He asked me to meet him, told me you turned down Atlanta. He had no right to, yeah. He offered you Richmond. Mia stopped. What? A position in Richmond. Not as big as Atlanta, but still a promotion. He said he'd set it up if you wanted it. Mia stared at him. When did he say this? An hour ago. And you're just telling me now? I drove straight here. Mia shook her head, overwhelmed. I don't understand. Why would he do that? Because you're good at your job, and because he doesn't want to lose you. But Richmond is an hour away. You could commute, or we could figure something out. Move closer, maybe. I don't know. But it's an option. Mia's eyes filled with tears. I told him no. I told him I was staying here. I know, but you don't have to. Not if you don't want to. I do want to. I want to stay with you and Lily. And you can. Richmond's not that far, Mia. We'd make it work. But your shop can survive. People need mechanics everywhere. I could find work in Richmond if I had to. Or keep the shop here and drive back a few days a week. We'd figure it out. Mia covered her face with her hands. This is insane. Yeah, it is. I don't know what to do. Ethan reached across the table, took her hands. Then let me make it easier. Take the job, Mia. Richmond. Not Atlanta, but close enough. Build your career. I'll be right here. We'll make it work. You promise? I promise. Mia looked at him, searching his face. Then she nodded. Okay. I'll talk to Richard. Good. She stood, walked around the table, climbed into his lap. He wrapped his arms around her, and she buried her face in his neck. I'm scared, she whispered. Me too. What if it doesn't work? Then we'll figure something else out. But we try first. Mia pulled back, looked at him. I love you. I love you too. She kissed him, and for a moment, everything else fell away. Mia called Richard that afternoon. He was thrilled. The Richmond position was hers if she wanted it, starting in January, same as Atlanta would have been. She said yes. That night they told Lily. She took it better than Ethan expected. So you'll be gone during the week? Lily asked. Some weeks, yeah, Mia said. But I'll be home on weekends, and we'll figure out a routine. And you're not leaving forever? No, sweetheart. Not forever, just working a little farther away. Lily thought about it, then nodded. Okay. You sure? Ethan asked. Yeah, as long as you come back. Mia's eyes welled up. I'll always come back. Lily hugged her, and Mia held on tight, her chin trembling. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. Mia trained her replacement in Millbrook, prepped for Richmond, packed and unpacked boxes as they tried to figure out logistics. Ethan started looking at apartments in Richmond, just in case. They talked about moving, about Lily's school, about what made sense. Nothing felt certain. Everything felt possible. One Saturday in mid-December, Ethan took Lily to the jewelry store on Main Street. She knew immediately why they were there. You're getting a ring, she said. Maybe. For Mia. Maybe, Lily grinned. Finally. They looked at rings for an hour. Ethan had no idea what he was doing. The salesperson kept showing him elaborate designs with multiple stones, and he kept shaking his head. Too much, too flashy. Mia wasn't like that. Then Lily tugged his sleeve, pointed at a simple band in the corner of the case. Silver, delicate, with a single small diamond. Understated. Elegant. That one, Lily said. Ethan looked at it. Yeah, that's the one. He bought it. The salesperson put it in a small velvet box, and Ethan slipped it into his jacket pocket. Lily watched him, eyes shining. When are you going to ask her? She whispered as they walked out. I don't know yet. Soon? Yeah, soon. Lily took his hand, squeezed it. She'll say yes. How do you know? Because she loves us. Ethan smiled. Yeah, she does. Christmas came. Mia's family drove up from Richmond, crammed into the small house with gifts and food and laughter. Hugh grilled Ethan less this time, even cracked a few jokes. Lon fussed over Lily, braiding her hair and teaching her how to make spring rolls. It was chaotic and loud and perfect. On Christmas Eve, after everyone had gone to bed, Ethan and Mia sat on the back porch, bundled in blankets, watching the stars. This has been the weirdest year of my life, Mia said. Good weird or bad weird? Both, mostly good. Ethan smiled. Yeah, me too. I can't believe it started with me barging into your shop like a lunatic. Best day of my life. Mia laughed. Liar. I'm serious. You walked in, asked me to be your fake fiancé, and turned my entire world upside down. And you said yes. Why did you say yes? I don't know. Maybe because I needed my world turned upside down. Mia leaned her head on his shoulder. I'm glad you said yes. Me too. They sat in silence for a while. Then Ethan shifted, reached into his pocket. His heart was pounding. Mia. Yeah? Can I ask you something? She lifted her head, looked at him. Of course. Ethan pulled out the velvet box, opened it, The diamond caught the moonlight, glinting softly. Mia's breath hitched. "Ethan, I know we started this as a lie," he said, "but somewhere along the way it became the most real thing in my life. You and Lily, you're everything to me, and I don't want to pretend anymore. I don't want to wonder or wait or second guess. I just want you. Forever. So, Mia Tran, will you marry me? For real this time?" Mia stared at the ring, then at him, tears streaming down her face. "Yes, yes, oh my God, yes." Ethan slipped the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly. Mia threw her arms around his neck, laughing and crying at the same time. He held her, his own eyes burning, and for the first time in years he felt whole. They pulled back and Mia kissed him, soft and sweet and full of promise. When they broke apart, she was smiling so wide it hurt to look at. "I can't believe you just proposed on Christmas Eve. Too cheesy?" "Perfect. It's perfect." They heard the back door open. Lily stood there in her pajamas, grinning. "Did she say yes?" Lily asked. Mia held up her hand, showing the ring. "She said yes." Lily ran over, jumped into Mia's arms. Mia caught her, laughing, and the three of them stood there in the cold, tangled together, a family forged from the most impossible circumstances. Mia started in Richmond in January. The first few weeks were hard. She'd leave Monday morning, come back Friday night, and the house felt empty without her. Ethan and Lily adjusted, but it wasn't easy. They called every night, FaceTime before bed, sent pictures throughout the day. It helped, but it wasn't the same. By February, they'd found a rhythm. Mia came home every weekend. Some weeks, Ethan and Lily drove to Richmond, stayed in the small apartment Mia had rented. They explored the city, found new restaurants, made new memories. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. In March, Ethan got an offer to buy the shop from the landlord. It was unexpected, a chance to own the place outright. He called Mia, told her about it. "That's amazing," she said. "Are you going to do it?" "I don't know. It ties me to Millbrook." "Is that a bad thing?" "I thought we were talking about moving to Richmond eventually." "We are. But that doesn't mean you have to give up the shop. You could hire someone to run it while you're here, or sell it later. You don't have to decide everything right now." Ethan thought about it. "You're right. I usually am." He laughed. "I'll buy it." "Good. I'm proud of you." "Thanks, babe." "I love you." "I love you too." They hung up, and Ethan felt lighter. This was working. They were making it work. In April, Mia got another promotion. Senior Regional Director. More money, more travel, more responsibility. She called Ethan, breathless with excitement. "They want me to oversee 3 states, Virginia, North Carolina, and Tennessee." "That's huge, Mia." "I know. It's insane. But it also means more travel, like a lot more." "We'll figure it out." "You keep saying that." "Because it's true." Mia was quiet for a moment. "What if we just moved, all of us, to Richmond?" Ethan paused. "You sure?" "Yeah, Lily could transfer schools, you could keep the shop or sell it, whatever makes sense. But I want us together, full time, not just weekends." "What about Lily's friends, her school?" "She'll make new friends, and the schools in Richmond are good. We'd make it work." Ethan thought about it. Leaving Millbrook, the house, the shop, everything familiar. It was terrifying. But the alternative, months, maybe years of this half-life, was worse. "Okay," he said. "Let's do it." "Really? Really?" Mia squealed. "Oh my God. Okay. We're doing this. We're doing this." They moved in June, sold the Millbrook house, found a bigger place in Richmond with a yard for Lily. Ethan sold the shop to a younger mechanic who'd been renting space, someone he trusted. It hurt, letting go. But it also felt right, like closing one chapter and starting another. Lily started at a new school in the fall. She was nervous at first, but within a month, she had 2 new friends and a spot in the art club. She drew constantly, pictures of their new house, the city, her family. One night, she showed Ethan a drawing of him, Mia, and her standing in front of their Richmond house, all 3 of them smiling. Above it, she'd written, "Home." Ethan hung it on the fridge. In October, almost exactly a year after Ethan proposed, they got married. Small ceremony, just family and a few close friends. Mia's parents, Min and Stephanie, Bon Y. Mrs. Patterson drove down from Millbrook crying through the entire thing. Lily was the flower girl, wearing a white dress she'd picked out herself, beaming the whole time. They said their vows in a small chapel, nothing fancy. Ethan's voice shook when he promised to love Mia for the rest of his life. Mia cried through hers, kept having to pause to wipe her eyes. Lily stood beside them, holding the rings, looking so proud Ethan thought his heart might burst. When the officiant said, "You may kiss the bride," Ethan cupped Mia's face and kissed her like it was the first time, like it was the last time, like it was everything in between. The reception was at a small restaurant downtown. They danced, ate too much cake, laughed until their sides hurt. Lily fell asleep in a chair at 8:30, and Ethan carried her to the car, her head on his shoulder, completely content. That night, after they got home, after they'd tucked Lily into bed, Ethan and Mia stood in their bedroom, still in their wedding clothes. "We did it," Mia said. "Yeah, we did. I can't believe we're actually married." "Technically, we've been pretending to be married for over a year," Mia laughed. "True, but now it's real. Now it's real." She stepped closer, wrapped her arms around his neck. "I love you, Ethan Cole. I love you, Mia Cole." She smiled at the name, then kissed him. And in that moment, everything they'd been through, the lies, the fear, the uncertainty, all of it felt worth it because they'd ended up here, together, real. 3 months later, on a cold January morning, Mia woke up feeling nauseous. She tried to brush it off, but it kept happening. After a week, Ethan made her take a test. She stood in the bathroom, staring at the 2 pink lines, her hands shaking. "Ethan?" she called. He appeared in the doorway. "Yeah?" She held up the test. Ethan stared at it. "Is that—" "Yeah." "You're pregnant?" "Yeah." He crossed the room, pulled her into his arms. She started crying, half laughing, half sobbing. He held her, his own eyes wet. "We're having a baby," Mia said. "Yeah, we are." "Are you happy?" "Are you kidding? I'm terrified." Mia laughed through her tears. "Me too. But happy?" "So happy." They told Lily that night at dinner. She stared at them, processing. "So I'm going to be a big sister?" she asked. "Yeah," Mia said. Lily's face broke into the biggest smile Ethan had ever seen. "Really?" "Really." Lily jumped out of her chair, ran around the table, hugged them both. "This is the best day ever." Ethan looked at Mia over Lily's head. She was crying again, smiling so wide it had to hurt. He reached across the table, took her hand, squeezed it. This was it. This was everything. A family built on a lie that became the most honest thing either of them had ever known. A single desperate question that had turned into a lifetime. And as they sat there, the 3 of them, soon to be 4, Ethan thought about that day in the shop. The woman bursting through the door, mascara smudged, asking the most insane favor. He'd said yes without knowing where it would lead. Without knowing it would lead here. To love. To home. To a life he'd never imagined possible. And he'd say yes again. Every single time. The baby, a boy they named Oliver, was born in September. Lily was obsessed with him from day one, insisted on helping with everything. Mia went back to work after 3 months, juggling motherhood and her career with the same fierce determination she brought to everything. Ethan found work at a shop in Richmond, smaller than his old place, but steady. Good. They bought a bigger house when Oliver turned 1, settled into a routine. Lily started middle school, joined the art program, won a local competition for her drawings. Mia got another promotion. Ethan coached Oliver's Little League team when he got old enough. Life was full, messy, loud, perfect. On their 5th wedding anniversary, they went back to Giuseppe's, same booth where they'd had their first real date. They ordered the same food, laughed about how far they'd come. "Remember when you walked into my shop?" Ethan asked. "How could I forget? I was a disaster. You were desperate." "Same thing. And I said yes." "You did. Why did you say yes?" Ethan thought about it, the same question she'd asked a dozen times over the years. "Because something told me you were worth it, and I was right." Mia smiled, reached across the table, took his hand. Best decision I ever made. Asking you. Best decision I ever made, saying yes. They finished dinner, walked out to the car, drove home to their kids, their life, their everything. And Ethan thought about how a single impossible question, a lie told out of desperation, had built something so real, so solid, it couldn't be shaken. Sometimes the wildest risks led to the most honest love. Sometimes the most broken beginnings led to the most beautiful endings. And sometimes when someone burst through your door asking the impossible, the only right answer was yes. Because you never knew where yes would take you. But if you were brave enough to find out, it might just take you home. Monday morning arrived with frost on the windows and a heaviness in the air that matched the weight in Ethan's chest. Mia got dressed for work in silence, her movements careful, deliberate. She'd barely slept. Neither had he. "You're really going to do this," Ethan said from where he sat on the edge of the bed. Mia paused, her hand on her purse. "I have to tell Richard something. Tell him you need more time. I've had all weekend. One more day won't kill him." She turned to face him, and her eyes were red-rimmed, exhausted. "Every day I wait makes it harder. I need to just do it." Ethan stood, walked over to her. "What are you going to say?" "That I'm turning it down. And then what? And then we move on. We keep living, together." He wanted to believe her, wanted to believe it would be that simple. But something in her voice, a tremor, a hesitation, told him she wasn't as certain as she pretended to be. "Mia, I'm late," she said, cutting him off. She kissed him quickly, grabbed her keys, and left before he could say anything else. Ethan stood in the empty bedroom, listening to her car pull out of the driveway. The house felt too quiet. He got Lily ready for school on autopilot, made her breakfast, packed her lunch. She watched him with those perceptive eyes of hers. "Is Mia leaving?" Lily asked as they drove to school. "No, Bug, she's staying." "Then why do you look sad?" Ethan glanced at her in the rearview mirror. "I'm not sad, just tired." Lily didn't look convinced. "I don't want her to go." "Me neither." "Then tell her." "I did." "Tell her again." Ethan smiled despite himself. "I will." He dropped Lily off, drove to the shop, and tried to focus on work. But his mind kept wandering. To Mia sitting in Richard's office, to the words she'd say, to the future she was giving up. Around noon, his phone rang. Not Mia. Richard. Ethan stared at the screen, his stomach twisting. He answered. "This is Ethan." "Richard Brennan. We need to talk. Can you meet me?" 1 o'clock, Giuseppe's. "Why would we need to talk?" "Because Mia just turned down the best opportunity she'll ever get, and I think you're the reason." Ethan closed his eyes. "I didn't tell her to do that." "I know. That's why I want to meet. 1 o'clock. Don't make me wait." The line went dead. Ethan stood there, grease on his hands, phone still pressed to his ear. Whatever was about to happen, he had a feeling it would change everything. He closed the shop early, drove to Giuseppe's. Richard was already in a booth, stirring coffee, looking more tired than angry. He waved Ethan over. "Thanks for coming," Richard said as Ethan sat down. "Not like I had much choice." "You always have a choice. That's the whole point." Richard set down his spoon, leaned back. "Mia told me this morning she's staying in Millbrook. Said she can't leave. When I pushed, she said it was personal, but I know it's you." Ethan crossed his arms. "She made her own decision." "Did she? Or did she feel like she had to choose between her career and you?" "I never asked her to give anything up." "You didn't have to. Just being here, being what she wants. That's enough to make her choose you over everything else." Ethan didn't know what to say to that. Richard sighed, rubbed his face. "Look, I respect Mia. She's talented, driven, one of the best hires I've made in 20 years. And I don't want to see her throw that away because she thinks she has to." "Then what do you want from me?" "I want to know if you're serious. About her. About this relationship. Because if you're not, if this is just some temporary thing, then you need to let her go. Let her take the job. Build her career. Don't hold her back." Ethan met his eyes. "I love her. I want to marry her. Does that sound temporary to you?" Richard studied him for a long moment. "No, it doesn't." "Good. Then you know where I stand. I do. But here's the problem. Atlanta's off the table if she says no, and I can't keep her in Millbrook forever. Eventually, she'll outgrow this office, and when that happens, she'll resent staying. She'll resent you. So what are you suggesting? Richard pulled out his phone, swiped through something, then turned it toward Ethan. There's a Carter and Lowe office in Richmond, an hour from here. Not as big as Atlanta, but it's growing. I could get her a position there, regional coordinator. Better pay than Millbrook, more responsibility. She'd have to commute, or you'd have to figure out the logistics. But it's an option. Ethan stared at the screen. You'd do that? If it means keeping her with the company and giving her room to grow, yeah. Why are you telling me this instead of her? Because I need to know you'll support her, that you won't make her feel guilty for taking it, that you'll figure out a way to make it work, whatever that looks like. Ethan leaned back, processing. Richmond, an hour away. Not impossible. Difficult, maybe, but not impossible. If she wants it, Ethan said slowly, I'll support her, whatever it takes. Richard nodded. That's what I needed to hear. He stood, tossed a 20 on the table. I'll talk to her this afternoon, but you should talk to her first. Make sure you're both on the same page. He left. Ethan sat there alone, staring at the empty booth across from him, a way forward, a compromise. It wasn't perfect, but maybe perfect didn't exist. Maybe you just had to take what you could get and make it work. He drove home. Mia's car was already in the driveway. She must have left work early too. He found her in the kitchen, staring out the window, arms wrapped around herself. Hey, he said. She turned and her face crumpled when she saw him. Richard called you. Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't ask him to do that. I know. Ethan walked over, pulled her into his arms. He told me about Richmond. Mia pulled back, surprised. He told you? Yeah. Said he'd get you a position there if you wanted it. I didn't ask him for that either. I know, but it's an option. Mia shook her head, tears spilling over. I don't want options. I just want to stay here. With you, with Lily. Why is that so hard? Because you deserve more than this town can give you, and because I don't want you to wake up in 5 years and regret choosing me over your career. I won't regret it. You don't know that. Yes, I do. Mia, listen to me. Ethan took her face in his hands. I love you. And because I love you, I want you to take Richmond. She stared at him. What? It's an hour away. We'd make it work. You'd commute, or we'd move closer, or we'd figure out some kind of split arrangement. I don't know. But we'd try. You'd do that? You'd uproot everything? If it means you get to build the career you've worked for, yeah. Without question. Mia's face crumpled again. I don't deserve you. Yeah, you do. And I don't deserve you. But here we are anyway. She laughed through her tears, then kissed him, hard and desperate and full of everything she couldn't say. When she pulled back, she was smiling. Okay, she said. Okay, I'll talk to Richard about Richmond. You sure? No, but I'm doing it anyway. Ethan kissed her forehead. That's my girl. They stood there, wrapped around each other, and for the first time in days, Ethan felt like he could breathe again. That afternoon, Mia called Richard. He was thrilled. The Richmond position was hers, starting in January. She'd have 2 months to transition, to figure out logistics, to prepare. When she told Ethan, she was glowing. I can't believe this is happening, she said. You earned it. We earned it. This wouldn't be possible without you. Don't give me too much credit. I'm just along for the ride. Liar. He grinned. Maybe a little. They told Lily that night over dinner. She took it better than Ethan expected. So you'll be working in a different city? Lily asked. Yeah, Mia said, but only during the week. I'll be home every weekend. Promise? Promise. Lily thought about it, then nodded. Okay, but you have to call every night. I will. And send pictures. Of course. And bring me back something cool from Richmond. Mia laughed. Deal. Lily seemed satisfied. She went back to her spaghetti, and Ethan and Mia exchanged a look. Relief, gratitude, hope. The next 2 months were a blur. Mia worked double time, training her replacement in Millbrook, prepping for Richmond. She and Ethan started looking at apartments closer to the city, just in case. They talked about Lily's school, about what made sense, about a dozen different scenarios. Nothing felt certain, but that was okay. They were figuring it out together. One Saturday in mid-December, Ethan took Lily to the jewelry store on Main Street. She knew immediately what they were doing. "You're buying a ring," she said. "How'd you know?" "'Cause you've been acting weird all week." Ethan laughed. "Fair." They spent an hour looking at rings. The salesperson kept showing him elaborate pieces with multiple stones, halos, intricate designs. Ethan shook his head at all of them. Too much. Too flashy. Then Lily tugged his sleeve, pointed at a simple silver band in the corner case. Delicate. Understated. A single small diamond set flush with the band. "That one," she said. Ethan looked at it. "Yeah, that's perfect." He bought it. The salesperson packaged it in a small velvet box, and Ethan slipped it into his jacket pocket. Lily watched, eyes shining. "When are you going to ask her?" she whispered as they walked to the truck. "I don't know yet." "Soon?" "Yeah, soon." "She's going to say yes." "How do you know?" "Because she loves us, and we love her, and that's all that matters." Ethan smiled, pulled her into a hug. "You're pretty smart, you know that." "I know." Christmas came. Mia's family descended on the house. Lan, Hugh, Min, Stephanie, Bangwai, the kids. The place was packed, chaotic, loud in the best way. They cooked together, laughed together, exchanged gifts. Hugh even cracked a few jokes, which Ethan took as a sign of acceptance. Christmas Eve, after everyone had gone to bed, Ethan and Mia sat on the back porch. The air was cold enough to see their breath, but they stayed out anyway, wrapped in blankets, watching the stars. "This has been the strangest year," Mia said. "Strange good or strange bad?" "Both, mostly good." "Yeah, same. I keep thinking about how it started. Me barging into your shop like a crazy person." Ethan smiled. "Best day of my life." "Liar." "I'm serious. You walked in, turned everything upside down, and I haven't been the same since." Mia looked at him. "In a good way?" "In the best way." She leaned her head on his shoulder. "I'm glad you said yes." "Me too." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Ethan shifted, reached into his pocket. His heart was hammering. "Mia?" "Yeah?" "I need to ask you something." She lifted her head, looked at him. "Okay." He pulled out the velvet box, opened it. The diamond caught the moonlight, sparkling softly. Mia's breath caught. "Ethan, I know we started this whole thing as a lie," he said. "But somewhere along the way, it stopped being fake. It became the realest thing in my life. You and Lily, you're my family, and I don't want to spend another day pretending or wondering or waiting. I just want you, forever. So Mia Tran, will you marry me? For real this time?" Mia stared at him, tears streaming down her face. For a second, she didn't say anything, and Ethan's heart stopped. Then she nodded. "Yes. Yes, of course, yes." He slipped the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly. Mia threw her arms around his neck, laughing and crying at the same time. He held her tight, his own eyes burning. "I love you," she said. "I love you too." They kissed, and it felt like the first time all over again. Like a promise. Like a beginning. The back door creaked open. Lily stood there in her pajamas, grinning like she'd won the lottery. "Did she say yes?" Lily asked. Mia held up her hand, showing the ring. "She said yes." Lily ran over, jumped into both their laps. They caught her laughing and sat there tangled together under the stars. A family built from the most unlikely foundation, a lie that had turned into the truest thing any of them had ever known. "We should go inside," Mia said eventually. "It's freezing." "In a minute," Ethan said. "I just want to stay like this a little longer." So they did. The three of them, holding each other, savoring the moment. Because moments like these, perfect and imperfect and real, were what life was made of. Mia started in Richmond in January. The first month was brutal. She'd leave Monday morning before sunrise, come home Friday night exhausted. The house felt wrong without her. Too quiet. Too empty. Ethan and Lily tried to adjust, but it was hard. They FaceTimed every night. Mia would ask about Lily's day, help with homework over video, blow kisses through the screen. It helped, but it wasn't the same. By February, they'd found a rhythm. Mia came home every weekend without fail. Sometimes Ethan and Lily drove to Richmond instead, stayed in Mia's tiny apartment, explored the city. They found restaurants, parks, bookstores, made new memories. It wasn't easy. There were nights when Mia cried because she missed them, nights when Lily asked why Mia couldn't just work in Millbrook, nights when Ethan lay awake wondering if they'd made the right choice. But they pushed through, because that's what families did. In March, Ethan got an offer to buy the shop outright. The landlord wanted her to retire, was willing to sell at a fair price. Ethan called Mia, told her about it. "That's incredible," she said. "Are you going to take it?" "I want to, but it locks me here." "In Millbrook. Is that a bad thing?" "I thought we were talking about moving to Richmond eventually." "We are. But that doesn't mean you can't own the shop now. You could sell it later, or hire someone to manage it. You don't have to decide everything today." Ethan smiled. "When did you get so wise?" "I've always been wise. You just weren't paying attention." "Fair point. Buy the shop, Ethan. It's yours. You've earned it." He did. Signed the papers that week, became the official owner of Cole's Auto Repair. It felt surreal, permanent, like putting down roots. April brought another shift. Mia called him one evening, voice shaking with excitement. "I got promoted," she said. "Again?" "Senior Regional Director. 3 states, Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee. That's huge." "I know, but it means more travel. A lot more." Ethan felt his stomach tighten. "How much more?" 2, maybe 3 nights a week, sometimes more." "And the rest of the time?" "I'd be in Richmond, or here, wherever we are." "What do you want to do?" Mia was quiet for a moment, then, "I want to move, all of us, to Richmond." Ethan sat down. "You sure?" "Yeah, I'm tired of being apart. I want us together, full time. Lily can transfer schools, you can keep the shop or sell it, but I want us under one roof, as a family." "What about Lily's friends? Her school?" "She'll make new friends. And the schools in Richmond are good. We'll make it work." Ethan thought about Millbrook, the house, the shop, everything familiar, and then he thought about Mia, about Lily, about the family they'd built. "Okay," he said. "Let's do it." "Really? Really?" Mia laughed, relief flooding her voice. "Oh, thank God. I was terrified you'd say no." "I'd never say no to you." "Even when I'm being crazy?" "Especially then." They moved in June, sold the Millbrook house to a young couple with a baby. Ethan sold the shop to Marcus, the mechanic who'd been renting a bay for the past year. It hurt letting go, but it also felt right. They found a house in Richmond with a big backyard and 3 bedrooms. Lily got her own room, painted it yellow, covered the walls with her drawings. Mia set up a home office. Ethan found work at a local shop, nothing fancy, but steady. Lily started 2nd grade at a new school. She was nervous at first, barely spoke for the first week, but then she made a friend named Emma, and everything changed. Emma loved to draw too. They'd sit together at lunch, sketching in notebooks, swapping ideas. One night, Lily showed Ethan a new drawing. It was their Richmond house. In front stood 3 figures, Ethan, Mia, and Lily, all smiling. Above them, in careful letters, she'd written, "Home." Ethan hung it on the fridge next to all the others. Fall came. Mia's job kept her busy, but she was home every night. They had dinner together, helped Lily with homework, watched movies on the couch. The little routines they'd built. In October, almost a year after Ethan proposed, they got married. Small ceremony at a chapel downtown. Mia's family came. Mrs. Patterson drove down from Millbrook, crying the whole time. Lily was the flower girl, wearing a white dress she'd picked herself, beaming. Ethan's hand shook when he said his vows. Mia cried through hers, kept having to stop and wipe her eyes. When the officiant said they could kiss, Ethan pulled Mia close and kissed her like his life depended on it. The reception was at a small restaurant. They danced, ate cake, laughed until their sides hurt. Lily fell asleep in a chair around 8:30, and Ethan carried her to the car, her head on his shoulder. That night, after Lily was asleep, Ethan and Mia stood in their bedroom, still in their wedding clothes. "We actually did it," Mia said. "Yeah. I'm officially Mia Cole. How's it feel?" "Perfect," Ethan smiled. "Yeah, it does." She wrapped her arms around his neck, kissed him soft and slow. "I love you." I love you too. Life settled into a new rhythm. Mia thrived at work, traveling but always coming home. Ethan found his groove at the Richmond shop, made friends with the other mechanics. Lily joined the art club, won a school competition for a drawing of a sunset. 2 years passed, then 3. The house filled with memories, birthdays, holidays, ordinary Tuesdays that somehow felt extraordinary. They fought sometimes, about money, about schedules, about whose turn it was to do dishes. Normal stuff, real stuff.